Hello, Gordon here. Hope all is well with you. And this Facebook Live I've called, Can You Create Opportunity? And here's my answer right off the bat. Yes, I think you can. And I'm going to tell you a story about that. Now, not all opportunities are created. Some opportunities just land in your lap. That's just the way life is. Not every opportunity has to be created. But when it comes to creating opportunities for yourself, oh yes, you can. And the story that I'm going to tell about it is me working in the music industry. So we're going back to 1987, 32 years ago, hard to believe. And I was in love with music then. I had been for many years, a massive collection of records. So the idea of working in the music industry always sounded good to me. But I was under the impression that you couldn't get into the music industry unless you knew a contact. And since I didn't and had no experience, I thought, well, I've got no chance. But then I found out or heard about a radio program that was advertised with 3 people in the industry talking about how they would advise someone to get into the music industry. And it was a music journalist, the broadcaster, and someone who worked at a record company. And they were all talking about the advice they would give someone. And basically the advice is this: get in touch and let everyone and anyone you know in the industry, let them know who you are, what you have to offer, and what you're looking for. And if you say, oh, I don't know who these people are, find out. And then keep getting in touch with them so that they know who you are by name. That was basically the advice, common advice that these 3 people gave. So I thought, I'll have a go at that. So I wrote to every record company that I could think of. Back in 1987, no internet, obviously, I wrote to all the major companies, and then I went down the smaller companies and any label that I could think of. I just wrote to them. Some of them I'd managed to find out a name. I didn't know if it was the right name. Other people, it was just dear sir or madam. And I wrote to them all basically saying, have you got any jobs? Most of them didn't reply. The ones that did reply wrote back and said, no, we haven't. So then what I did was I wrote back to them saying, did you mean yes, you have got a job? And they wrote back and said, no, we meant no, we haven't got a job. So I wasn't getting anywhere, was I? Or was I? Because I was getting my name out there, wasn't I? And then I took myself on a day trip to London and went to all the record companies that I could think of and actually find the address of. Said, can I speak to the personnel manager, please? And the response I got most of the time was, no, they're either not here, they're in a meeting, or they don't take unsolicited appointments. But one or two, a few, I did get to see the personnel manager, to shake their hand, to look them in the eye, to talk to them, to present myself. So I was putting more of that groundwork in, wasn't I? Wasn't getting any returns. I didn't get any jobs then either, but I was putting in the groundwork. Wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. And then I was at home one day, living with my parents at the time, and the phone rang. My dad answered the phone and said, there's a woman called Jane Sullivan on the phone. He looked at me quizzically because he didn't know who that was, and he expected to know who I was talking to when I was on the phone or what I was talking to them about. I knew very well who she was because, get this, she was the personnel director at EMI Records. So I was being phoned at home by the personnel director at EMI Records, was phoning me. And she said, we've got a little vacancy over Christmas it was, in the classical music department, filling boxes and helping put up displays. Is that something you might be interested in? I'm not sure if it's anything you're looking for. And I said, yes, please, I would be interested. because I knew, again, they said this on the radio show, the key is to get your foot in the door. Once you're in the music industry or in a company, the jobs will be advertised internally before they go externally. So if you get a chance to get your foot in the door, take it. So I said to her, yes, I would be interested in that job. Thank you. And I had to go up and have another little interview to make sure that everything was right. And I got the job. Really good fun meeting people in the classical department, getting out to the record shops, the big chains and the small companies, and getting to know people inside EMI. That's the key. Because while I was doing that job for a few weeks, there was a job vacancy on the internal notice board in the singles department, promoting singles sales. So I applied for that job, and guess what? I got it because the personal director knew me. I'd already met the people from those departments by being in the company and talking to them. So I got that job. And I was there for 6 years, had some great fun, had some great adventures. Now, was I lucky that Jane Sullivan had run me at home? People could say, oh, you're lucky, she just rang you and offered you a job. Well, Earl Nightingale says that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So I had created that opportunity, hadn't I? Because I'd put in the groundwork, I'd done the preparation. So I'd created that opportunity, I'd created that luck. Because that job advertised internally that I got and ended up doing 6 years, no, I'm saying that I ended up doing 6 years in prison, ended up doing that job for 6 years, that would have gone to someone else internally or someone else externally, and I would have been none the wiser had I not put in that groundwork. And it was probably the first time that I'd put in that goal achievement formula into practice myself, that effectively. Pick your goal, find out a plan to how you can do it, believe it, take action, and keep taking action. That's exactly what I did. And I used that goal achievement formula again on another occasion to get into performing, and again on another occasion to get into the world of internet marketing. So I know the formula works. It's worked for me every time I've used it. And that is an example that I like to tell people because it's my story. It's not theory about how someone else used it or how I think it might work. It's a story that actually happened, and it actually happened to me, so I know it works. And that's why I like passing the story on, because even back then I was following my passion, wasn't I? In this case, music, doing something about it. That's why, since we have now got the explosion of the internet, I put that message across as much as possible. And hey, that's what I'm doing now, isn't it? So I hope you like that message. Let me know what you think about whether you agree that you can create opportunity and how you might do it in the key areas of life, as I like to call them: health, wealth, career, relationships and lifestyle. What opportunities could you create that maybe you're just waiting to fall in your lap without putting in any groundwork? So if you like that message, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. That helps me share the message further via Facebook's algorithms. Hope all is well with you. Wishing you as ever health and happiness, and I will speak to you again soon.